Are you trying to decide whether a TaB 400 by NuCamp is worth the extra money? Well, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why we decided it was well worth every cent in this episode of Travels with Delaney. Welcome back. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you take time to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside of it so you get all of the notifications of our upcoming videos. We put out a new video every Monday featuring everything from travel to RV gear reviews to our log cabin living, and sometimes we even throw in a few recipes too. So make sure you subscribe. Also check us out on all of our other social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all under Travels with Delaney. All right, back to this week's episode. So the TaB 400 is made by NuCamp over in Sugar Creek, Ohio, and these are really high quality trailers, but they also come with a fairly high price tag. You can get a similar size RV camper trailer for approximately half the price from other mass producers. But I'm going to talk today about 3 reasons why we decided to upgrade from our 2017 Jayco Hummingbird, which was approximately 18 foot, the same size as our TaB 400, but we ended up spending twice as much, actually a little bit more than twice as much as we had spent on the Jayco in order to get into this TaB 400. So let's start with reason number 1, and that is the quality of the build and the design of this trailer. When you look in a TaB 400, you are going to see true craftsmanship. Take the cabinets, for instance. The cabinets in this trailer are better built than the cabinets in our home, which is a 20-year log home. When you look at them, they're made out of solid wood. I believe the company actually uses birch. And just look at the joints. They use a dovetail joint on all the drawers. And to me, that is a sign of very high quality production. In addition, typically when you buy a new trailer and you travel down the road, and sometimes up to a year or longer, you'll find dust particles and metal shavings that'll come out of vents and cracks. And what's amazing is we hauled this trailer all the way back to Indiana from Florida and we found absolutely none, which tells me that during the production process they take the time to clean up as they go. Again, a sign of true quality. The other thing is, I'm just use this as an example for the quality of design, is the water systems. You know, sometimes if you just think things out ahead of time, it makes things easier on you down the road. What NuCamp did was they made sure on the TaB 400 that all of the water systems are in one central location. So when I open the outdoor access panel for the water systems, number 1, I can see my shutoff valve and I can reach it easily to do the bypassing for winterization purposes. And then I also have all my low point drains right there at my fingertips in one location. I'm not having to crawl under a bed or flip up benches or remove screws or anything. And so those examples all, to me, justify the price of this trailer just in the quality and the design of the trailer itself. Let's go on to reason number 2 that I think this trailer is worth every cent. And that is really the quality of the components that are put into this trailer. When you look at things, and I'm going to start with the build on the exterior using the Azdel composite system. You know, one of the real concerns with trailers made out of a fiberglass material is the delaminization. See, we're going to do this in one take. And that's where you get that bubbling. With the Azdel, everything that I've read about it is it's a more expensive product to build with, but because of the fact that it's moisture proof, then water can't get in between those layers, and thus you don't have to worry about the separation. You also don't have to worry as much about leaking into the trailer. Now, there's still always a chance you could have a leak on a TaB 400. Anywhere there's an opening, like a light fixture or a window, but in terms of the actual sidewalls, the Azdel is a very high quality product. They also use the Aldi heating system for both your heat and for your water heater. And this is a really high-end product, primarily used overseas in Europe for years, but it's a radiant heat. It gives you a lot more consistent heat, and it just literally radiates out from under your bed and in your bathroom and under your dinette, and it keeps a nice even temperature. And the other thing is it's very quiet because you don't actually hear it. They also utilize the Cool Cat for the air conditioning unit, and it is ducted. And unlike in our Hummingbird where it was just the big overhead, which did a great job cooling, but it was so noisy, the Cool Cat being ducted is much more quiet, and it gets the air where we need it, back in the bedroom, out in the dining room, even in a small trailer. Sometimes directing that air is important. In addition, the Cool Cat is also a heat pump. So on those cool nights when you don't necessarily need to run the Aldi, you can use your Cool Cat heat pump. And that's really nice because, again, it's just an efficient way to heat your trailer. But those aren't the only things. Look at the bedding system inside. TaB could have just thrown in a cheap, typical RV mattress, but they didn't. They used the high-end Froley sleep system. Now, you wouldn't think those little plastic springs would make that much of a difference, but I'm telling you, this is the first trailer that we've ever owned that we haven't ended up changing out the mattress right away. We were so impressed the first night that we're going to actually keep it as is. Now, the only thing we did do is we did add a memory foam topper that we had on our former bed in the Hummingbird, but we already owned it, so we said, what the heck, we'll put it on there. And the only thing that I really think it does is because NuCamp uses a 3-cushion system for the bedding so that you can access the outdoor storage and the water systems from under the bed more easily. Instead of one big panel you lift up, you have the 3 individual. Putting that memory foam topper just kind of smooths out the 3, but otherwise it's a high-end sleep system. Some of the other things that I would mention would be the, things like the two-way refrigerator. And the reason I like the two-way in this is it's not your typical two-way, which is 120 or propane, but this one is actually AC or DC, so we can use it plugged in, but it's much more efficient running off the battery. Oh, and speaking of the battery, they go ahead and equip this trailer with a 235 amp hour AGM battery. And starting, I believe on the website, it says sometime after April of 2018, they're actually going to go to 2 6-volt AGM batteries, which is going to be even a bigger upgrade from the standpoint that we all know 6-volt systems tend to take recharges much better. So NuCamp really thought out all of the different components, parts, and pieces that they were putting in here. And I haven't even mentioned that gorgeous stargazing window in the bedroom. It's wonderful, right over the bedroom area. We have 3 windows like that in our TaB 400. They all can be open to get fresh air. They all have nightshades for privacy. Oh yeah, and they all have screens to keep the bugs out. And if that wasn't enough, the screen and the nightshade can actually connect together, and so you can have varying amounts of nightshade privacy along with open airflow keeping the bugs out. All right, so that was number 2, the components going into the trailer, helping to justify the cost. And finally, number 3, customer service. I've always said I don't mind buying products that aren't of the highest quality, as long as the company's willing to take care of you and make it right. Well, I am impressed so far with NuCamp as a company. Behind me, you'll see the TaB logo on the back of our TaB 400. Well, when we took possession, actually that logo was missing. So we had requested that we have it just because we wanted to have a complete look. NuCamp, and we were in no rush. It's the middle of winter in Indiana. Honestly, they could have taken a month to send it to us. They actually overnighted it. And you know what? To me, that sent a message about who they are as a company. The fact that they could have sent that regular mail and been to us in a week, and I would have been thrilled, but they went the extra mile. They overnighted it to make sure within 2 days we had it. I also see things like the CEO being on Facebook TaB owner groups and tag owner groups, answering questions. I mean, how impressive is it that the CEO on weekend evenings even I've seen, where he's out there answering questions? NuCamp also has a real following. Remember, this isn't a large RV company owned by some corporation. This is a small, locally owned in Sugar Creek, Ohio manufacturer. And so there's a real following, and I've seen stories. I haven't experienced it myself, but the things that I've read online are things like when somebody did get a trailer that had issues and it was taking too long to fix, I actually read that NuCamp just replaced the trailer with a brand new one. And again, that's the kind of customer service I want. And I'm willing to spend more if I can get customer service. Oh, and speaking of a loyalty following, yeah, like a lot of manufacturers, they do their annual rally. We're going this year. It's called NuCamp 18. It's where all the NuCamp owners get together near the factory and spend a week hanging out, sharing ideas. But that's also partly sponsored, I believe, by NuCamp. And again, it just shows their commitment to their customers. I read an article last month where one of the executives at NuCamp was saying that right now they're way behind on production of the TaB 400s. That right now actually demand is exceeding supply. But they refused up their production until they can ensure that every TaB 400 leaving the factory meets the same quality standards that they're meeting with the current production. Again, pretty impressive. They're putting their customers and the quality of their product over bottom line profits. So those are my 3 reasons that I think a NuCamp TaB 400 is worth every cent that they're charging. And again, just to recap, quality design and build, quality component parts going into it, and maybe most importantly, high quality customer service. All right, so that's this week's video. That's the reason that we went ahead and spent $29,000 on Carl. We feel like that it is well worth it, even though we haven't even only used it a week now. We just feel like when you go in it and you feel the quality and you see the quality, it's a well-made trailer that's going to hold its value much better long term, and we're going to have a lot of good adventures in it. I hope you come along for those adventures with us, as every time we travel, we'll be posting videos. All right, until next time, as we always say here at Travels with Delaney, we'll see everybody on down the road. Good night.